right. It's your average Joes bringing your fantasy thunder once again. I'm your main man, Ali, and on the line with me here is Dave, back to no Tonyo Brown Allen once again. What's going on, Dave?
Hey, going good, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm getting along this week, and as per usual, the way our schedule runs, we have football tonight, and I get to watch my 49ers get demolished. So it's kind of bittersweet. kind of bittersweet.
Oh man, you putting them down like that, demolished? You already chalked it up?
They've already lost, man. I'm just hoping we can make it respectable and we can get a good fantasy game out of them tonight for some of the folks got people going tonight. But once again, as always, people, want to thank all of you guys for coming back once again, sticking with us. We certainly do appreciate your support. It's been a great ride, and we are definitely looking forward to bringing content and bringing more shows to you guys. We're going to be here. We're going to be here for you. So come back in and check in with us on Tuesdays and on Fridays. We're going to have shows for you guys, and we may even have a small snippet, maybe like a fantasy minute or something like that throughout the week. We're going to be doing some different things, so please continue to check us out. And again, it'll mean the absolute world to us. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment. Once again, we want to be interactive with you guys. You can get us on Facebook at the Average Joe's Fantasy Football Podcast. You can check us out on Instagram, Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and there is an underscore between those three, and we're also, in between each word, and we're also on Twitter. So please be interactive. Your start, sits, questions, whatever, trade questions, we're here to help you guys out. And once again, please do hit that subscribe button. Speaking of being interactive, I don't believe we've gotten anyone, the right answer from anyone on the question of the week. Is that correct, Dave?
Yeah, as far as I know, it's been not to spoil anything. It's been some close answers, but not all the way yet.
Not all the way. Okay. Well, we're going to leave it up here for one more week. I don't think it's incredibly difficult, but it is a good one. And we'll just go over it real quickly once again. There were name the quarterbacks from last year that were in the top 5 that are outside of the top 10 this year. So 2016, the quarterbacks that were top 5 that are now this year outside the top 10, and there are multiple quarterbacks. Good. So, man, how is your week shaping up? How's your fantasy week, man?
Very well. I was gonna say very underwhelming, but I won't go there. It's unfortunately the 2 leagues I'm in with you. My teams are terrible, so it looks like I just am doing awful, but my other teams are not too bad. So I'm about half and half with for those who don't know, the 20 teams that I have. I'm about half and half this week.
Half and half. Okay. Yeah. It was, going into yesterday, I actually was having a pretty decent day. Not yesterday evening, I'm sorry. Now I was going into the evening 2-2. Looks like I had 2-2 in hand. And even the leagues I was definitely losing in, I had pretty good weeks. I just ran up against some really strong teams. I ran up against Albert Wilson, and every time the dude caught the ball, I was like, almost wanted to scream. Like he was going to the house. He was acting like Tariq Hill. Like what's happening here? So I had strong days even with those teams that didn't win. But the 2 games I had in hand, one league I'm in with you, and I think we're in both of those leagues together, and the other league, I was up by 4 or 5 points, and I have Devontae Adams and Julian Edelman going up against Sony Michel and not Gronkowski, the kicker from the Patriots.
Gronkowski, yeah.
Whatever. Okay, this dude has 22 points last night. Sony Michel has his breakout game on me last night. And now I'm going into tonight, which, again, a game I had firmly in hand. I believe Uh, the odds of me winning going into the game last night was something like 70%. I left out of that game with a 47% chance of winning, and I'm hoping for a 22-point performance from Devontae Adams. And that's totally doable for him, especially since we just got a report looks like Geronimo Allison's going to be out tonight. Cobb may be making his return. But, yeah, man, it's up in the air now in the game. So I'll be 1-3 in the leagues I care about here if Devontae Adams doesn't show out.
Well, if what you said when we started the show about the 49ers already losing the game, if that's true, you can get a big game because Cobb is out too.
Cobb is out. Okay, Cobb is out as well. Okay.
Yeah, so Devontae should be looking real good.
Well, we can't stop anyone, but the problem I think is maybe the first half we get blown out and this turns into the Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones show. But maybe if we can get a couple of touchdowns out of Devontae Adams, that would certainly be helpful for me. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Oh, and I wanted to mention, guys, for the question, and again, I know this is not a championship belt. I know we're not giving away a free sign, football or anything like that. We're starting small. Again, so we appreciate your support so very much. But you will have your life changed by these chips. Trust me, you will love these chips. They'll be your top 2 or 3 chips. They're Creamy Ranch Habanero by hers. We're giving that away. We will send you a free bag if you answer the question correctly. Do it. Trust me.
Get in on these chips.
Get in on the chip. You will not be sorry. If you like them a little spicy, you're going to love them. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in, man. Got a few things to talk about tonight. As usual, we're going to try to get out of here in under an hour. It's not going to happen, but we're going to attempt it. We're going to talk about a few of the games. We're going to have some what the heck moments of the week, and I got plenty because there's so many what the heck moments to talk about, and then we'll jump to the waiver wire. Again, we're not going to spend all night on that because every show does waiver wire. You can get that anywhere, but I want to give you guys some different things to think about. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the games, my friend. Let's start off with the Bucks and the Falcons here, man. I mean, everything we could have hoped for, including a fourth quarter hook and ladder right at the end of the game that would have won the game. Fantasy points galore. Yeah, if he caught the ball, if it was a good throw.
Yeah.
And
that was fun to watch.
Oh man, it was a great game. So many fantasy points to go around. Mike Smith lost his job. I hate to laugh.
Get him out of there.
Yeah, I hate to laugh, but so many fantasy points. We're all happy. The only person in America is like, man, is Mike Smith, and I feel sorry for him. But we do appreciate the lack of defense there. What did you take away from this game?
Other than points galore, man, I was wrong about Julio. I kind of called him Mr. Can't Get Right. I don't want to say that because he's still putting up great yardage.
Oh my God!
He just can't find the end zone.
Top 5 wide receiver with 0 touchdowns.
Yeah,
how does that happen?
I just need you to I don't know if somebody needs to take him down to the touchdown and be like, hey, it's
this is where it's at, right?
Ball. Yeah, in between these 10 yards, it's fine.
He needs the location. He needs the coordinates for the end zone.
I think he might just be a little confused. It's like, it's really tight down here. I don't know if I really want to put my skills here. But yeah, waiting on Julio get touchdowns. The big takeaway for me were the running backs on both sides for different reasons. Peyton Barber on one hand had a great game, 13 carries, 82 yards. He was used in the pass game, had a receiving touchdown. That's great to see.
We called that. We called it. Well, so to speak. We did the start him. We're sitting him, so you start him. I had the wrong running back. I said Ronald Jones. I thought we'd get a little bit more run, but even he had 3 receptions. Peyton Barber had 4 and a touchdown and had a pretty good, solid game. And I told you, and I told everybody, if you were listening, that's why you should listen to us, that Jameis coming back was going to be a different kind of an offense, could
Absolutely.
possibly open up some running lanes. Because this is not just, hey, I'm throwing it 80 yards, can Deshaun Jackson go get it? He dinks and dunks. It's going to be a different
Right.
offense. You're going to get, I called Adam Humphries. He didn't have,
Yeah.
an incredible game, but from 0 points, most weeks to 11 points, he was usable in your flex. And Winston got the ball out to his running backs for passes as well. So yeah, we had that one. So I hope you guys keep listening because we're giving you great stuff here. Go ahead. You said something about the other running back as well.
Yeah. On the other side, I'm interested to see this Ito Smith situation in the backfield.
We have to talk
He
about that.
outcarried.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he outcarried Tevin Coleman only by a carry, but the fact that it's that even is something to look at. He got a touchdown. He's also being used in the pass game. He had 2 targets, which is the same as Tevin Coleman. So yeah, I think that's Ito is somebody to really pay attention to, especially Devontae Freeman's already been ruled out for next week.
Yeah.
So Ito's going to continue to get uptick to his workload.
Yeah, I like them both. I still think that you're going to have them kind of like what was happening with Coleman and Freeman vulture each other, but he's someone certainly to keep in mind, especially for dynasty purposes. I don't know if his usage is going to be enough this year to justify, but certainly if he's on your waiver wire, which he should not be in dynasty, but if you can pick him up, I certainly would go ahead and take a look at picking him up. But you never know. I was able to get Mark Watson off of waivers. By no means is he going to be as effective and efficient and usable as Ito Smith this year. But we do know something is very likely happening with the Bengals backfield next year, and Mark Walton can come into a significant role next year as possibly a pass-catching back. The issue is Mixon kind of does it all, but I have him around just to kind of see what happens. Yeah, man, the game looked good. Jameis did not shame us. He looked really good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I like what I've seen out of him. Now, again, he was going against Atlanta's defense, but again, every year he seems to be that top 10, 7, 8-ish kind of a quarterback. He's going to give you those 2 or 3 bonehead plays a game. That one throw into the end zone, you're just like, come on, man. The guy was double teamed and he wasn't open. He's going to give you that. He's going to give you your 2 interceptions a game. He's a lot like Brett Favre in that way, but he's also going to give you 400 yards passing and a few touchdowns. And he's a little bit more mobile than Fitzpatrick. So you got that going. And one thing that I wrote down here is will Jones ever catch a touchdown? I mean, is that going to happen? I honestly don't know the way he's being used right now. I'm really honestly over under like 2 touchdowns on the season. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, no, that's not far fetched. And it's not far fetched at all. I hate that. I hate to even be talking when you've got such a weapon, not only in fantasy but for that team, to have such a huge weapon that just can't find the end zone for whatever reason.
Not even on a long bomb or anything. It's like crazy, man. I don't know. I mean, if he had a few touchdowns, he would be up there. And he is top 5 this year at PPR. But I mean, he would be close to number 1. Now, no one can touch Thielen, but he'd be probably number 2.
Yeah, Thielen's out of control.
Yeah, he's destroying it, man. I cannot believe that.
Yeah, and so Calvin Ridley went out with an injury, and I think what I saw is he's supposed to be fine, not anything, not as bad as they're thinking. I think it was just an ankle injury as well as Mohamed Sanu. He had a hip injury. I read here Dan Quinn is expecting him to be ready for next week, so it should be good to go.
Yeah, and Sanu looked good. I mean, while he was in there, caught his touchdown, second week in a row, had a touchdown. You really wish he would have been out there all game. Could have been a huge game for him as well. But he's definitely someone you should be throwing into your flex. I think at this point in time, it's not really a question whether he should go there. So good deal. Yeah, I like these guys. We'll probably end up reviewing 1 or 2 of them or both teams possibly coming up this week, but had great games, great showings, and you like what's to come for both teams. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Pittsburgh and the Bengals. Another one you knew was going to have some fantasy points out there. What did you take away from this game?
That Juju is still gonna continue to be a beast, but so is Mr. U-Haul.
No problem. He can move the ball down the field as well, not just furniture.
Yeah, man, and that the rivalry is great. The game was another fun game to watch, whether you're a fan of either team or not. It was awesome. Andy Dalton came out and is continuing to be, make his name in the fantasy relevant league.
Game. Mm-hmm.
The past years, I've tried to avoid Andy Dalton at any cost. But this year he's been, not elite by any means, but definitely someone that you can throw in
Top
there.
10, yeah.
Tyler Boyd. I know we've already mentioned him. I know we've already talked, but man,
every week in your lineup.
Yeah. He is definitely a must start. Don't think twice. Like put him in the game. He has been phenomenal. Vance McDonald was phenomenal. Hey, look, this guy here. Yeah, we're gonna have to come up with something for him, because he is just out here making defenders look bad.
Definitely, you don't want to run up against. You start getting scared of him. Like, what's the guy? Brandon Jacobs back in the day with New York Giants. No one wanted to tackle this dude, and Vance McDonald's very quickly going to be just like him. I'm calling him truck stick. You can call it something different. Might be a little better, but this dude is running them over.
It's like he's allergic to defenders or something. He's like, look, don't touch me. I don't. Look.
Yeah, it's gonna be violent.
Right. But yeah. Point. They, it was great on both sides of game, fantasy wise, everything looked great.
Absolutely, yeah. And Dalton, man, just someone like you already mentioned, doing great this season. He's someone that, even though he hasn't quite torn it completely up over the last couple of weeks, he has a favorable schedule. Next week he's up against Kansas City. I mean, he's going to be a top streamer next week, and I have him on a couple of my teams, even though I don't really stream quarterbacks. I'm going to have some difficult decisions. It's going to be between him and Russell Wilson, him and Cam Newton. I mean, but against Kansas City, you got to put the ball in the air and put the ball in the end zone to keep up. So I'll probably be starting him. And, of course, Juju has kept up his production. It just seems like this Pittsburgh team, is as impressive as the Kansas City team. Everybody is getting in. Everybody's eating. Everybody's having a good day almost week in and week out. AB 105 yards and a touchdown. And I don't know how this dude gets that wide open at the end of the game like he did to run down the middle for that touchdown, but they're finding ways for everyone to be effective. James Conner, another great game, making the need for Leveon Bell, which we'll talk about here in 2 seconds. I'm not going to say there's no need. Le'Veon, again, is a transcendent talent, and by no means is James Conner Le'Veon, but he's mitigating the need for Le'Veon Bell right now, which is why they haven't budged and probably won't budge, because he can shoulder the load they need him to shoulder. Speaking of, there was news a couple of weeks ago Le'Veon was going to report in the bye week at some point in time, and that can certainly still happen, but it has to bother Le'Veon owners. He hasn't said anything publicly or otherwise. So he hasn't spoken to the team. Hey, I'll be there in a couple of days. He did not show up for team meetings this morning. And I think a report just came out maybe about 10 minutes ago that the Steelers organization is not looking for Le'Veon Bell at this point.
Right. Yeah, I just saw that too. I think right before we started, they're looking, hoping more for a Monday appearance from him. They have the Thursday to Sunday off. They're looking towards Monday. Yeah, that story. I wish I knew how it broke exactly, because when it came out, it was like, okay,
he's going to be
this
here.
is your time to sell high on James Conner. We don't know what the timeshare is going to be like, yada, yada, yada. But then it came out and it was like, well, Le'Veon hasn't said anything to the team. The team hasn't spoke to Le'Veon.
Yeah, where are they getting this from? I mean, the report earlier in the year when they said Le'Veon's going to report right before the start of the season, that came from a player. And that, to me, felt more genuine and then some beat reporter that no one knows where he got this information from because, hey, players talk all the time. Hey, no, dude said, hey, Le'Veon's going to be here, write it down. He didn't show up then. It makes no sense for him to show up now. I don't get the reason to show up after the bye week. It does. Yeah. I'm going to continue to say it doesn't make any sense for him to take a meaningful snap this year. He may have to, so he can become eligible for, free agency next year. He may have to do what he has to do. But I'm not playing not one game additional that I have to. And when I get there, you're going to know you're not getting 110% from me. I'm just trying to get out of the season without an injury. That has to be his mindset. I mean, if it's not, then this whole thing makes no sense. He should have been there game one and went the other direction. Hey, I'm going to play so hard and have such a great season that you're going to have no choice but to pay me next year. He didn't go that way. He went with I'm sitting out. So if you're going to sit out, you got to sit out the whole season effectively.
Right.
Effectively.
Yeah. As long as you can, with being able to get what you want in the long run. Definitely. Right. Yeah. You're absolutely right on that point. It doesn't make sense for him to come until he absolutely has to.
Correct.
And I think what we have talked and seen from the beginning was a Week 10 show up. We weren't expecting. Right. I know personally, I haven't been expecting Le'Veon to show up till Week 10, which I think is the last week that he has. Right. Yeah, that he has. So, I mean.
And even then, don't put me on the field.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going for my contract next year.
Exactly. I think if you're still kind of thinking, okay, do I hold on to James Conner another week? I think you hold on to James Conner for the rest of the year.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's one of those things that when Le'Veon comes back, like we just said, Le'Veon comes back and they throw him in, that he's going to get the great workload that he's been getting. I think that,
they may give him I don't know. It's such a strange situation. You know what the Steelers are going to want to do. Hey, we're paying you $1 million a game.
Right.
Tote the rock.
Absolutely.
But Le'Veon's like, I don't want to get hurt. Do you think he's going to be grinding out that extra yards, putting his body in a situation where he can get to – no. The first defender that comes near me, I'm hitting the deck.
Right. Straight to the ground, straight out of bounds. I'm good.
Right. I don't know.
Cool. Y'all needed 5 yards? Well, I got you 2.
I got you 2.5.
James can get the rest. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Man, I don't know.
Looking at it from that standpoint, and just looking at what the offensive line, the people that are blocking for him, what they've been saying.
Yeah.
When they go in there, are we going to get the same blocking for this? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
It's a lot of different things to worry about.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. And last point on this, Mixon continues to make me regret my decision, even though Collins had a decent day. He had 2 touchdowns, but his yards per carry were really down. They got this, I don't know, rookie they signed off the training squad or something like that, came in and is looking okay. Now, don't get me wrong, Collins had like about 20 quick carries, so I wasn't disappointed with that. They didn't stick him on, they didn't bury him underground because of his fumbling. As a matter of fact, he got a couple of, so to speak, goal line carries. So that was encouraging for Collins. I'm glad to see that for him. But again, Mixon is just showing that this is going to be a great year for him. Let's go ahead and move on. Sake of time. Let's talk about the Jags and Dallas. And if it wasn't for the fact that I have so many what the heck situations already, this will be top of the list. What happened? What is happening?
That is my top. What the hell? I don't know if we can count that as a snipe. I don't know if that was a snipe or not, but yeah.
Jeez.
I don't. What was it? I mean, we did call the Dallas defense. We said that was going to be a good defense to put in there.
Listen to the shows. Now they didn't have a huge fantasy week, but you didn't think they were going to do this to the Jags. They had I think 11 fantasy points, which if you're streaming, That's a great stream. Listen to the shows, people. Yeah, that Dallas and the Jags, man, they killed. They killed the Jaguars. Jaguars need Fournette in the worst way. I could see the owner and everybody right now looking at, Fournette saying, listen, we were going to keep you after week 9 to keep this, to give you as much time as we possibly can. That ain't happening. Put some Ben Gay on it. Put some Robitussin on it. Wrap it up. We need you on the field for 30 carries. Bortles can't do it.
Yeah. No, that was rough, and giving up 40 points was another rough thing
Yeah,
for me
shocker.
that blew my mind that the Jaguars gave up. Their defense gave up 40 points. But yeah, talking about the offense, yeah, they can't do it without Fournette. I mean, Yeldon was able to come in and he provided some good games,
He's
but
a
I
decent
think
back. He's a change of pace kind of a guy. He's that alternative back you bring in for pass catching or something like that. He's James White basically.
Right. And I wasn't excited with this Jamal Charles signing when they did it.
Oh no.
And there's nothing to be excited for after this game. It's just I think that was just like, we need somebody because Corey Grant's gone.
Right.
So here you go. But yeah, Dak Prescott looked really good.
Pretty good.
He looked really good running the ball. He looked like what we are wanting Russell Wilson to look like. That's what we got from Dak yesterday.
Russell always been that guy that he would give you about 30 or 40 rushing yards a game, something like that, maybe 20. But he's mobile to throw the ball, so I don't expect Russell Wilson to get 80 yards rushing per game.
No.
This is more of a Cam Newton kind of a look. Or the Deshaun Watson look from last year. Yeah, he had a good look. He had a good game. One of the craziest things I was looking at here, the Jaguars were getting blown out. And this has happened many times over the last few seasons for Jaguars and Blake Bortles. And what would typically happen is Bortles would end up getting a lot of garbage time for you. He would throw the ball 50 times. They'll still be losing. The game will be out of hand, but it'll get you 300 yards passing, a couple of touchdowns, and a few interceptions, something like that. That didn't happen. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. You're getting blown out. They only threw the ball 26 times.
Yeah.
They were getting blown out, only threw the ball 20, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, maybe they ran the ball a lot. No! Between Yeldon and Jamal Charles, 13 rushes total. Between the two of them.
Yeah.
And 26 passing attempts. What happened here? Where was the offense? I didn't get a chance to sit down and watch the whole game. But what happened? That was so odd.
Well, that's Dallas's MO as a huge. I don't know if I've said this on this podcast yet, but I dislike Dallas a lot. I'm an Eagles fan. I do not like the Cowboys at all. But having Cowboy friends and not on the team, but like fans, and watching them, the one thing that I do know and hear a lot is this is Dallas's game. We're going to keep the other offense off the field. We're going to slow it down. We're going to let the time tick off, and we're going to play our game.
So they pulled a Jacksonville Jaguars on them. On the Jaguars.
They were able to pull a Jacksonville on Jacksonville, and they just kept. Honestly, I don't know if you want to keep the ball out of Blake's hands, or if you want to give it to him more. Like in that scenario, I'm not sure, but that would make sense for the reason, for the lack of offense per se.
Yeah.
Or offensive numbers, I guess.
You have to go out there and check out the time of possession, but that just seems ridiculous. You would think when you're getting blown out like that, you're going to have 40 or 50 passing attempts. They didn't pass or run the ball. That's almost like the offense wasn't there. Zeke had a great game. He's doing what you expect, 116 yards and a touchdown. And got a new nickname here. It's no longer Cole Beasley. It's Cole Beastly. Cole Beasley was a beast yesterday. He had two touchdowns, right?
Yeah, and led the receivers by a bunch. I think he had 9 receptions, and the next leader was like 2 or 3. 2. Yeah, and over 100 yards, 11 targets. But that's something we saw last year that we're just not seeing again. Dak loves Cole Beasley.
Oh, yeah, that used to be his guy. No, it wasn't last year. Was it not the year before?
It may have been the year before.
I think so.
I just know we've seen it before.
Right.
It's not anything extremely new. That's Dak's guy. With lack of receiving help in Dallas right now, you can really expect Dak to continue to look for Cole. Yeah, and real quick, you were asking about the time of possession. Dallas had it 38 minutes and 50 seconds compared to Jacksonville's 21 and 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that makes a little bit of sense. Still seems ridiculous, but even with the time,
definitely ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened, but neither. Yeah, you're right, man. The next closest person to Cole Beasley was Swain, the tight end, with 2 receptions on 2 targets. Alan Hearns got 5 receptions but 0 catches. So, yeah, Beasley was the guy. We'll see if this continues to develop. I still don't trust the Dallas offense, not one bit. But
no,
yeah, this is not bad at all. Hey, one more thing about Dallas before we move away from this game. Tavon Austin, he only got 2 carries. I don't think he got one target. They were talking to Cole Beasley a few weeks ago, and he said, "Listen, all we can do as receivers is do our jobs and get open." And they ran a stat, and I forgot where I seen the stat, but I did see it somewhere else, that the degree of separation for Cole Beasley is 2.5 yards, 2.5 yards from the defender. That's about league average. Tavon Austin is averaging 3.9 yards of separation. This was a couple of weeks ago, so it may be a little different. He's open by 4 yards. Why can they not get this dude the ball, who has all the, in my opinion, intangibles and all the speed of a Tyreek Hill? Maybe not as good of a receiver, but why can't they get the ball in this dude's hands?
I agree. I think a couple shows ago we called him a poor man's Tyreek Hill, and I mean that's what he is. They just can't. They don't get him the ball. They use him as a gadget player for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And he's definitely more than that. That stat that's a great stat. That is a tremendous stat. I had no idea.
3.9 yards separation. He's open by 4 yards. So hopefully they'll figure something out.
Can you go tell Dallas that?
They haven't figured it out. Have to do wide open. I don't throw him the ball. We don't want to throw the wide open wide receivers. That don't make sense. Anyway,
we're trying to make sure we can get Dez back, so we don't want to throw too much.
Yeah, no, we don't want him to get jealous about people being open. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, man. So one more thing, we gotta move on. But I expect totally for the Jaguars to rebound. I think they're going to take this game personally, and they have San Francisco 49ers next week. I expect it to be a beat down. So don't get down on your Jacksonville Jaguars if you drafted them in your league. Likely you drafted them 10th, 11th round. I think they're going to still have a fine season. They give me -1 points. Another reason why I have to rely on Devontae Adams this evening, because I do have Jacksonville as my defense, to get 22 points. They gave me -1 points this week. So surprising. All right, let's move on. We were going to talk about the Dolphins and the Bears. And I'm probably hitting all your what the heck moments. But Brock Osweiler, 380 and 3 touchdowns, the laughing stock quarterback of the league, outside of Nathan Peterman. Nathan Peterman's probably number 1. Brock Osweiler was number 2, and this dude balled out. Do we have a quarterback controversy? What's going on here, man?
I actually heard something today that each one of Brock Osweiler's starts, or his first starts for a different team, he's beaten the Bears. So I don't know if he's just got something against the Bears when he gets it done. Yeah, he's just got their number. I don't know. I'm personally not looking towards Brock to do anything or to continue. But, I mean, for him to do it against this Bears defense does say something. I don't want to discredit him completely because this Bears defense is no joke. So it's definitely impressive on his end, definitely impressive on Trubisky's end. He did it again another week. This game has a lot of what the heck moments in it.
Yeah, Wilson completely
Uh,
destroyed my life. He was one of the guys in my other league I was telling you about that I was really happy with the way my team performed overall, and he just blew me out. Then the guy also had Kareem Hunt last night, and yeah, it's
oh
over. But my
goodness.
team overall that week performed pretty well, and that's one of the teams I have Leonard Fournette. And Leonard Fournette is destroying people's fantasy years. Destroying
Oh
people's
yeah,
fantasy. You
yeah.
drafted this guy in the first round, and with the exception of maybe I don't know, maybe Dalvin Cook, who you probably drafted later than Fournette, he has to be the biggest disappointment. Name somebody else bigger disappointment than Fournette right now.
No, it's definitely got to be Fournette. Fournette was going, top
Maybe
top
Le'Veon.
7 picks.
Le'Veon.
Yeah, okay, well,
Le'Veon.
but but we had the difference with Le'Veon was you did have that idea in your mind
Right, that he
that
may not.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm drafted. Yeah, he may not play. We going with Fournette. I don't think really many people were expecting. Of course, you have your people that are like he gets hurt, but
Right.
not this.
Not right.
This.
Correct. Yeah. 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 Okay. But anyhow, Wilson destroyed my life. And
Yeah.
really, had an Amendola sighting. I don't know if Brock turns us into a quarterback controversy and they start riding a hot hand. I believe Amendola this week had about eight receptions. And if it wasn't for Wilson taking it to the house every time he touched the ball, you may have had more of Amendola, over the middle. Let me check my stats here. Amendola had 8 receptions, 59 yards on 11
Yep.
targets.
Yep.
So he had a game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want to continue to watch that situation. What do you think about him?
I was actually looking at the exact same thing. If Brock's gonna be the quarterback, you might have to pay a little bit of attention to Danny Amendola. I mean, the volume's there, the targets are there. He didn't have a crazy amount of yards, but like you said, that was attributed to Albert Wilson.
Well,
taking the
who's
ball.
not there? Publius Parker. So there's no targets going to him, and all the targets go to other people. Because Publius Parker is not playing. I don't.
I forgot about Devontae. I don't even. That guy is.
He's not on the pup list actually, but he probably should have been because he hasn't. I think he's played a couple of snaps. I don't know, but yeah, Amendola is going to be interesting to watch. And old man Gore, he's making us all look like fools. What are we doing, Gore, man? What are we doing with this dude?
I mean, you might get to the point. You might have to start this man. If you have a team, if you have Kenyon Drake on your team, that's probably who you've been starting, who you've been rolling.
Right.
So if you're looking at, okay, I like Miami's matchup, it might come to the point where you're like, I got to put Gore in the game.
Getting touches.
Yeah, and Gore's out touching him. Kenyon Drake had that horrible fumble at the goal line, and the very next drive, he was like, "We're gonna go to Gore." Like, I remember hearing the commentators say, Adam Gase said that, I love Gore. I can trust in Gore because when he says he's gonna do something, he gets it done. Just hearing that is like, that sounds like that's your guy.
Yeah, I was watching the game. Actually, Gore got gassed. They did put Kenyon Drake back in the game, even after his goal line fumble, because he was over there praying and looked like he has an angel on his wing because they end up coming back and winning. He had the touchdown, and then you know me, I have him on my team, so I'm like 6 points, we're good. And he fumbled. Oh my God, that is like a 8-point turnaround on your team. He had to, anyhow, moving on. But no, they put Drake back in. He had a couple of catches on the drive, and I'm glad that they did that for his, because they're gonna need him. He's still the most talented offensive player. But yeah, Gore, man, if you're in a tight spot, he looks like a startable asset for you, which is crazy.
Yeah.
To think about. But I'll say this. And now I have to go through the story quickly. But my son plays football. This is his first year playing football. He's 9 years old. And getting ready for the season, I was trying to instill in him that football, because he plays basketball, to play basketball like every year for the last 3 or 4 years. It's a different animal than football. You're not going to just lollygag your way through practice. Then on game day, everybody gets in for most of the game because it's basketball. You only have five. We're going to put there's only 12 people on the team, so we put everybody in for. No, football. You're going to have to go out there and show the coach what you can do. There's 30 or 40 of you guys. You don't have to get in the game that much. Every play, you better be digging it out. You better be showing them that you want to be on the field. You better be running faster, as fast, and putting the effort in. I think that's Gore's game. I think that Adam Gase this dude does not stop. When you see him running the ball, it's like he's running for his life. Like Michael Myers is behind him, and he's trying to get. I mean, he just has that effort. Drake doesn't look that way running the ball. He's not going to bust that hole through the offensive line. He's going to kick it outside and try to use his speed to get there. But Gorse looks like he's trying really, really hard, and I think that effort and that fire and that passion is what drives Gase to keep putting this guy in above a dude that is obviously more talented.
The talent is obvious. It's obvious who the more talented back is, but it's just like you said. It's just the effort. It's the want. It's just knowing that you've got a guy on your team, a veteran guy on your team, that you can give the ball to get things done. It's those two guys are still difficult, especially when you're thinking of PPR.
Yeah.
Because Drake's still going to get the ball, catching out of the backfield more than Gore is. But as far as looking at just out of the backfield, it looks like Gore might be the guy.
Yeah, Drake might be tough to play outside of PPR. Absolutely. On the other side of the ball, we already talked about Mitch having a good game. I think he's
Jordan Howard.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't.
That was my I sat him, so you start him. That was my, and his game wasn't
bad. He
he
got 70 yards. He had a fumble, which he probably would have had 9 or 10 points. Had he not had that fumble.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't. It wasn't terrible. It's just that Tariq Cohen he scares me. He takes it. He just takes over the backfield, especially in PPR. They love that guy.
Yeah.
And that was something that we talked about last week when I said that I was going to sit him because this looked like a Tariq Cohen type of game, and that's what it ended up being.
Well, they're all turning into Tariq Cohen type of games here recently, so it might be more of a.
That wasn't very much analysis, was it?
Oh man, we're gonna put Tom Brady in the game. Really? No, I'm gonna say what you mean. No, yeah. Tariq is looking good. I think he fits the offense there very well. And Howard's touches are not taken away from Tariq's game. He's showing it up through the passing game as well. I think Jordan, man. I don't know. I'm really kind of glad in one of our leagues we were drafting that I was able to I don't so-called dodge Jordan Howard. He was picked one pick before me. I was going to pick him, and I ended up picking God, who did I trade for you? McCoy. I ended up picking McCoy right after him. Then I traded McCoy away to you. But I'm not. Yeah, because I probably would have kept Howard. I didn't want McCoy, so I did what I had to do to get him traded. I would have kept Howard and been stuck with that headache. I don't know what to tell the listeners to do with Howard. You probably can't sit him.
Right, yeah.
If you're, I don't know.
And he's not. He's in one of those zones because he's not necessarily a disappointment, but he is disappointing.
Yeah, it's definitely no. I mean, he's not having horrible games. He's still averaging 4 or 5 yards per carry. And if he hadn't fumbled and would have gotten into the end zone, boom, you got a game of the week.
His game looks
16,
way better.
17 points.
Exactly. So I think you got to continue to try to roll with him. Yeah. That's what I was saying.
You got A-Rob got into the end zone, looking good there. I seen him on waivers. One of my people were frustrated with him. He would have been a buy low candidate last week. I don't know if he can do that again for this week, but if so, I think A-Rob is still a good pickup. Bears defense looked awful, but I think this is just kind of an outlier. That team is still pretty rough. So, yeah. Got anything else on the Fins and the Bears?
Taylor Gabriel.
Oh yeah.
Watch him. Like we got that's definitely pay attention. It's probably something we would talk about in the waiver wire, so I'm pretty sure he's available. But 5 receptions on 5 targets, 110 yards. This is 2 weeks in a row. He's went over 100 yards. Looks like, and this game, Anthony Miller actually was back playing, and he still did this. So it looks like he might be solidifying a role.
Yeah, Miller only had, I think, 1 reception. Was for a nice touchdown, but yeah, he only had 1 reception. So we'll have to continue to watch that situation and see if they vulture each other, or are they going to go ahead and prefer Taylor Gabriel over Anthony Miller. Good deal. All right, well that's the games. Once again, we'll be back on this upcoming Tuesday and do a preview for you guys. But we're going to finish up that rewind and go ahead and get to the what the heck moments of the week. We've already talked about a couple, but there's a few more I definitely have to get out there. And so I don't snipe you. I already hit you over the head here with the Jags and Dallas. Let me let you go first. What do you got, man?
Yeah, Keenan Allen is my what the heck moment, and also like my what the heck for these couple of weeks. Like, Keenan, and then to make matters worse, he fumbled twice yesterday. Yeah. Like, what is going on, Keenan? Tyrell Williams jumped ahead and did these miraculous things. Yeah, Keenan Allen is still, he still is the startable guy. You got to start him, but he's been underwhelming as of late.
Yeah, and those 2 fumbles. Now, if I'm looking correct, I don't think he lost the fumbles. He just had
no.
They got the ball back, but yeah, he's certainly been a disappointment. He was a fringe first rounder. Probably on that turn. You were looking at him, Devontae Adams, maybe Julio Jones, Mike Evans, maybe CMC, something like that.
Green.
And there's a lot of people who were picking him. And I heard, one of the experts, commentators, whatever, at the beginning of the fantasy season say Keenan Allen may lead the league in targets this year. And you're thinking to yourself, hey, you got to have that guy on your team. But he has certainly been a disappointment. And I'm going to kind of attribute that to Melvin Gordon has been absolutely spectacular. They can't stop giving him the ball because he's been so awesome. I don't know, but keeping with that, he's actually one of my what the hecks as well. It wasn't so that it's not because he's been so bad, but the funny thing is Keenan Allen, this is what the heck, 4 receptions, but also had 4 rushing attempts.
Yeah, I was just looking at.
Yeah, so like, what is going on? Is he a halftime running back and halftime wide receiver here? I mean, yeah, I didn't get that at all. 4 rushing attempts, 4 receptions. Not quite what you're looking for out of Keenan Allen, but I guess they got to get the ball in his hands, some any way they can. And Austin Eckler, 0 catches. That is definitely weird. He's typically the guy that comes out there, but he still had like 70 yards rushing because once again he touches the ball and gets like 10 yards of a rushing attempt. So he had still a solid okay game, 60 yards total, I do believe. So that was one of my what the hecks as well. So I just kind of piggybacked off of you there. My first what the heck, Austin Hooper out of Atlanta, 18 receptions the last 2 games. The first 4 games, 12 receptions total. Is he the new hotness, man? Is this guy somebody you got to put in your lineup now, or you're still just flexing him, or you still just streaming him, or is he every week play? What do you got for this dude?
I think you have to. I think you kind of might have to put him in. I know this was Tampa Bay that he did that against, but the Atlanta offense is rolling. Like it's gonna keep rolling, and Austin Hooper. He's finding it. He's getting it done. I think, he's doing his thing, and I think that's somebody you gotta pay attention to with the Falcons offense, the way that it's going. And he's finding the end zone. So
if you would have asked at the beginning of the season, Hooper or Julio Jones having more touchdowns, some people out there possibly wouldn't have, but I personally would have laughed at you. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is a challenge to Atlanta. Get Julio. I don't care if you have to get like the LA Chargers here and hand Julio the ball in the backfield on the goal line. Get him in the end zone. Treat him like a running back.
Man.
Get him in the end zone. This is not right. Yeah, man. So Austin Hooper, you got to get him on your team if you can. I don't know if I'm going to start him every week until I see it again, but if he gets over 5 targets a game next game, he's someone you have to put in your lineup. All right, man. Who's your number 2? What the heck?
What the heck, Cleveland? Who is Damian Ratley? Who is this guy that you put into the lineup and got 8 targets, 6 receptions, and 82 yards?
Yeah.
But no, his measurables are great. He's 6'2", big guy. I believe they brought him up after the Rashard Higgins injury.
Right.
And
I'm
they're
still
just,
holding
you
Higgins.
know,
I like Higgins. I will still.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely not dropping Higgins. I'll drop Callaway before I drop Higgins.
Wow.
I like Higgins.
That's a hot take.
There you heard it here first. I would drop Callaway because just going off the rail a little bit. The Browns, they keep giving him chances. And he's just not making the most out of it. And now it looks like they're gonna, I don't want to just base it off of one game, but
right.
I think Damian came in the last game and did all right, and now he's doing it this game, and we'll have to see moving forward. But Damian Ratley definitely made a splash this Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's someone we'll talk about on the waiver wire just a little bit. We've already kind of touched on him, but yeah, I was thinking, looking at that myself, and I think the Browns just signed another wide receiver. And I forgot his name. Man, it's Bashard Perriman.
Oh yeah.
And I was under the impression he was the guy coming in to kind of take the place for Rashad Higgins, who, if I'm not mistaken, he has a 2 or 3 week injury.
Yeah. You're missing time.
Yeah.
Only thing about Perriman can't catch the ball though. He can't do the one thing he's supposed to do.
Oh man, that's funny. So he can't catch the ball, so I'm not sure why we signed this dude. He's a wide receiver that can't catch. I mean, wow, that's funny. All right, man. My number 2 was Tevin Coleman. 35 yards rushing, 1 reception. Now that 1 reception went for a touchdown, so he's somewhat salvaged his fantasy day, but he has not shown to me that he's going to be able to shoulder the load as an RB. I think this time out for Freeman has hurt Coleman.
Yeah.
More than help.
No, I think so too. Yeah, and now, looking forward, you were thinking, so Tevin's leaving, he's going to go be a workhorse somewhere, but now it's not, you can't really, doesn't look like he's going to really be able to carry the load.
Yeah, I don't quite get it, especially when Ito Smith comes in behind him. This is not a situation like in Baltimore where you have Collins and this new guy coming up. Hey, the new guy, I think his name is Edwards, had a little bit better rushing day than Collins. We've seen Collins do it game in and to me and game out. Here Tevin is getting the opportunity that he has been looking for to showcase himself. They're giving him the ball, and he is not getting it done. And I not only am I looking at the games and paying attention to the stat lines, but I'm using him in DFS because once you hear that the Freeman's out, oh, this is going to be a great play. And he has not shown up. He's probably hurt himself more than helped himself. I don't know. I don't know if anybody picks him up for big money next year, man. I mean, I don't know. It's really a what the heck situation. I really thought he would be doing a lot better. Do you have anybody else, man?
Real quick. What the heck, Sammy Watkins? How are you on such a prolific offense and you come away with 2 catches?
Hey man, I'm going to tell you right now. So Kansas City took a look at the Rams last year and said, "Wow, Watkins is an awesome decoy. We we need a decoy."
Oh, he bothers me because when I drafted him, quick, it's not even going to be a long story. I drafted him. I was like, man, I'm going to just keep him. He might, because like we talked about earlier in the year, they were like, man, this Patrick Mahomes, Sammy Watkins connection is crazy.
Right.
Cool, great. Then it wasn't there. So then I dropped him. Then he had 2 weeks of
couple good games.
Very relevant fantasy output. So I'm like, I didn't pick him back up, but I'm like, all right, let's watch this guy. And then he gets hurt last week. He comes back this week, and it's nothing again. What the heck, man?
The decoy. The decoy. Yeah, man, he is the number one decoy in the league, and that might be his new nickname, the decoy. All right, man. That's I had him on one of my squads. I dropped him, and he did have a good fantasy week right after. Because I think in that particular draft, he dropped like round 8 or 9, and he had been going like 5 or 6 for a long time. And he's certainly been another disappointment. I'll run through a couple of more what the heck. I know I have a few more than you, but it's just this week took me back. Adam Thielen, we already spoke about him. This dude is on pace to break the NFL's reception record. He's on pace to break. This dude is having an insane year, and if you haven't heard from some of the prior episodes, I have a bet going with a gentleman on one of our chat rooms that Julio Jones would have a higher per game fantasy points than Adam Thielen. We had a bet going, and I'm going to have to, if things keep going the way they're going, and Julio Jones can't get the coordinates for the end zone, and Adam Thielen continues to break the NFL reception record, I have to donate $25 to this guy's charity of his choice, and he gets to choose my profile picture for a month. And I can only imagine what that's going to look like. It probably is going to rhyme with a Rick pick, but I'm hoping it's not a Rick pick. But we'll see. Hopefully it'll be a tasteful Rick pick. Anyhow, so Adam Thielen is killing it, and I can't help but to be happy because in one of our leagues that you and I are in, he's on my team, and he kills it every week, man. 6 games in a row over 100 yards. Another one. Do you have anybody else? I think you've seen me have.
Oh no, yeah. You go ahead.
Yeah, I got to rattle them off. I keep saying I'm going to say Nick Van Nett's going to be a thing, that he's a thing, and he's going the opposite direction. 0 catches, nothing, squadouche this last week, and I'm going to stop saying that. Nick Vanette gave us 0. And at the beginning of the year, you're thinking this is going to be good because obviously he had Jimmy Graham there before, even though he didn't catch a whole lot of passing yards, he got a touchdown just about every game. Then he had Will Disley come in, and then he's hurt. And then Ed Dixon, who they brought in, he's hurt. So Nick Vanette is the man there for tight end, and he's getting nothing. So I'm off the Nick Vanette train here. Going back one, I forgot to mention this. Geno Smith has 100% pass completions this year. he's 100%, man. The NFL's best passer. He doesn't miss a pass. 1 for 1. And 2 more, and we got to get out of here. I know we got to hit this waiver wire real quick and get out of here for the game. We're 7 minutes till 8 o'clock. 2 more real quick. Wendell Smallwood, another guy just like Tevin Coleman, completely missed his opportunity. He had a chance to show that. And we were saying before, Wendell Smallwood, when he gets the opportunity to produce, he does. 18 carries and I think like 55 yards or something like that. And Clement, who was hurt all week, came in and got the touchdown. That really hurt. And the last one. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just real quick on that story. We talked about that. We were talking about that during the game.
Yeah.
it wasn't so much as Wendell, the play calling they were giving him as opposed to Corey Clement was crazy.
Yeah.
It was just like, we're going to hike the ball, Wendell, you just find a hole. And then when Corey comes in, all right, let's do this. I don't know if it's a trust thing. I don't know, I don't know what that is. Also, really quick, I saw something today that said Corey Clement was actually 100% come game time, and there was no pitch count. Wendell just got the start over him, so I don't really know what that whole.
I mean, everybody's do a bad game and a little bit of a clunker,
right.
so I'm not going to hold Wendell, but he had the opportunity to really shine. Yeah, the funny thing is, you and I were talking about Wendell or Jordy Nelson last week, and I put Wendell in, and all week long I was like, man, I should have put Jordy Nelson in, and Jordy ended up with 2 points. So how do you call fantasy, man? It's a crazy week. My last one, and we're gonna move on. We've already talked about Frank Gore and Kenyon Drake. Now, in our league, one of the league that you're the commissioner in, I'm 5-1 after this week. I'm feeling pretty good. I got my chest puffed out. I'm walking around like Conor McGregor with my arms swinging. I'm looking good. I'm feeling myself right now. I'm feeling myself. This may not be a what the heck moment of the week. It's more of a what the heck moment for me. I am going to do this. It's written. Write it down. Kenyon Drake, Frank Gore are both starting for me next week. I'm putting them both in the lineup, baby. It's going to happen.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna hold you to that.
No. It's well, wait a minute. Okay, so I'm very much leaning that way. Very much. I'm about 90%.
Okay.
I do have also Willie Snead, who has come on of late. Not great, but definitely flex worthy. I believe he had 7 receptions last game, 5 or 6 receptions the game before, 5 or 6 receptions the game before that. So last 3 weeks he's had fantasy relevant weeks. They've been about 50 yards. We're talking about 11 points a game. So it's going to be really down to Snead or Drake, but I'm really thinking I'm going to put both Drake and Gore in there because again, I got my chest puffed out a little bit here. I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling pretty good, and they're going up against the Lions, who has a very poor rush defense. There might be room for both Drake and Gore to eat, man. And I'm thinking I can take the shot because I got Thielen saving my season and Gurley out there, baby, balling for me. I can take the shot and start them both.
You definitely care with that team. Thielen the season saver, definitely doing his thing, and that's going to be interesting. So you guys come back Thursday
and see if I hold up minded the ball.
Yeah, see if he decides to keep it, so everybody will know that this is what he's doing.
We're going to see. We're going to see how it works out. All right, man. Let's go ahead and do a quick waiver wire. I'll start it off since you kind of sniped me a little bit. We'll talk about Damian Ratley for Cleveland. Again, he had 2 decent games. Last game, he kind of came out and actually I think he led the team in receptions and yards. So he should be someone on your waiver wire radar. Again, it may be short-lived until Rashard Higgins comes back, but it just looks like that Antonio Callaway, though he's very fast, is not getting it done. Who do you have?
Damian Ratley was one of my guys, and then Chris Godwin for the Buccaneers, if he's available. I think he's pretty widely available, actually. 6 catches on 9 targets. He was tied with Deshaun Jackson this past game. Jameis likes him as well as Adam Humphries. I think I know Chris Godwin, kind of going into the year, we expected him to be a big part of the game. Fitzpatrick was just out of control starting off. He was throwing it everywhere. So I think Chris Godwin kind of takes an uptick, and you'll see more targets and should get some touchdowns out of him as well.
Absolutely. Chester Rodgers, he has shown a lot better than Ryan Grant, who we were both pretty, I'm not going to say we were high, but I definitely thought he was going to be a guy that you can flex in and flex out on a week-to-week basis, and he kind of sort of has been. I mean, he's given you 9 to 11 points on most weeks. But Chester Rodgers is showing he's actually the person taking Ty's place while Hilton is out. He's not quite, obviously not quite as dynamic as Hilton, but he's the one with the touchdown. He's the one getting the targets. He's the one that you could feel excited about. I mean, Ryan Grant will give you 9 points. He's hurt, actually, by the way. But you're not excited about Ryan Grant. You don't think,
Right.
oh, he can have a blow-up game. You know you're going to get your 8 points. Chester Rogers looks like he can give you a 20-point game if you're lucky one day.
Yeah, no, definitely. I like Chester Rogers as the guy while T.Y. Hilton is gone, other than Eric Ebron.
Right.
Yeah, Chester Rogers is definitely the guy that's going to get you more yardage downfield and make some plays happen. The rest of my guys we've already kind of talked about, so I'll just mention them. We'll kind of fly through them. Taylor Gabriel, we mentioned. I think that's a guy that's going to continue to be the real deal there. I don't think that those are just two games that are anomaly. I think that's going to continue. Ito Smith is somebody to keep your eye on. More importantly, in Dynasty, I think that you've already mentioned that. So more importantly, look at him in Dynasty. And Frank Gore, if he's available, I think we've gotten to the point in time where you kind of have to go ahead and put him on your squad.
Absolutely. Those are 3 good ones, especially with Gore getting the touches he's getting. Seems like he's going to be viable possibly every week. And that's not even PPR. That's also standard because he's not catching a lot. He's getting a lot of on the ground. I got 2 more guys we'll run through. I mentioned one already, Willie Snead. I haven't seen him a lot. But again, with the way that fantasy works, if you're in a deeper league or you guys have deeper starting lineups, 10, 12, 11 points a week ain't bad in your flex.
Right,
I mean,
absolutely.
Considering. So if he's there, I put him on my bench, if not put him in my flex here and get him going because you got people like Wendell Smallwood and Tevin Coleman not taking advantage of their opportunity there. So definitely he's someone to look at. My last guy, and this is for super deep, if you're in trouble at tight end, Jacksonville lost 2 tight ends already. ASJ went down, and Niles Paul, who kind of stepped in and made a little bit of a name for himself last week, looks like he'll be out for 3 or 4 weeks. So if you dare, James O'Shaughnessy, you can pick him up off waivers. He's probably available everywhere, and he actually produced a little bit. I believe he had 3 for 30 last week, and that's probably on half a game. I'm not sure what quarter Niles Paul went out, but on half a game he gave you 6 fantasy points. So perhaps that's something to look for there.
Absolutely, yeah. And especially moving forward, like we talked about, the offense wasn't on the field very much. Blake didn't throw it too much, so moving forward, there'll be more passes, more things coming his way, and he's the guy there right now. So that's definitely somebody to pay attention to.
Absolutely. Well, look, guys, we've held you long enough. Once again, want to thank all of you guys for coming back and visiting with us. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Again, listen to the podcast, guys. We're giving you guys some very, very, very good insight on some things. No one's ever 100% right, but we called quite a few things last week, and if you were here listening, that would have possibly affected your fantasy week. As always, final thought of the day, if you can dodge a wrench, more than likely you can dodge a ball. Dave, do you have anything else for the people?
Hey, enjoy your week and enjoy your football.
Absolutely. We're getting ready to sign off. You guys have a great night.